Almost ready to go, just getting set up with a couple of things and letting people know that I'm actually going to be streaming. So let's just drop a message here. We still have my stuff? Yeah, there we go. Hey guys, I need to remove my mods. Updating session. My doc. Twitch.tv/fluffier than thou. Alright, that worked there, and we also need to do that in mod dev, I guess, because let's annoy many again, and throw it over there, see if we get some people in here. Alright, and we've got 30 seconds left. It's almost like I timed this stuff. Oh gosh. Alright, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Actually starting on time this time. Hello there, it's Mats. Hello there, everybody else. So RimWorld royalty dropped yesterday. I kind of knew it was coming, but I was also kind of hoping that I would have a little bit more time to update. So I had a week, and I've been faffing about with other things, honestly. I was trying to update Mod Manager, because the last time I streamed, people wanted me to update that. That was a terrible idea. Yeah. Hey Manny, that was a terrible idea. That was stream telling me like, yes, you should update Mod Manager, and then getting lost in all of the changes, and there's just a lot of changes there. And multi-versioning is now actually relevant because more people are doing it. We now have like built-in version support to an extent, and also like dependencies and everything. So everything changed with that, and I just got completely work myself into a corner, and I probably have to start over. Then I wanted to fix my release script so that I could release multiple versions at the same time. As in, I can build the 1.1 version, my script would copy everything into one mod, package it for the workshop, and then I wouldn't have to manually create like versions of mods and everything. Yeah, that was also a bad idea, because it turns out that gets complex. As in, silly complex quite fast. I tried to work it out in like a flowchart. It took me a while, and I still haven't worked out completely in code that. So I think at some point I'm going to do that. I really would have wanted it to be done now, but I mean, we need to get this stuff updated. We just need to get some updates out there for all of my mods, and yeah, I guess it's just going to be 1.1 versions only for now. I don't like it. I don't know. Is that a good idea, or am I just letting myself be rushed now? Because that means that I have to put 1.1 versions on the workshop. Hi there, privatiger. Maybe I should just take the time to fix that release script and make sure that I can put like dual versions on the workshop. Yeah, because otherwise people are going to complain about that again. Now the problem I have with the dual versioning and like the multi-version targeting is that it's not future-proof. Like it already doesn't work if you have like if you change sounds or textures between 1.0 and 1.1 because it doesn't read that out of a version folder. Which is like, why would I even bother then if at some point it's just going to break anyway? I just don't like it. As privatiger, Manny, are you guys bothering with it? Are you doing versioned releases? Yeah, people complain. I mean, to be fair, most of the time on Steam I actually get positive comments and people. I mean, around updates there is always a couple of people who are just shouting for updates, but it's not that bad. It could have been worse. You will, but you're not there yet. Yeah, fair enough. Maybe I'm just being lots of conflicted versions. All right. So this is kind of what I was working on my my release script. Yeah. And just trying to work out how that would work. So I think I also have like the workflow here. So the idea is that yeah, one targeting project installations that lives in version 1.1 folder and builds its own assembly from its own copy of source. My idea so far is that I would create branches for the versions. So my idea is that I would create a branch for 1.0 and then, so that's basically the current master branch. And then I would create a branch for 1.1 and that would be the new master branch basically. And I'll just keep working on that. And then in a release script, I can check out the various branches I have. So I'd have to have some kind of Now that I'm saying this, I'm realizing that I would have to have a branch description file that like describes which branches to use for which versions, and I would have to somehow synchronize that across branches or put it in a non-git location, which is kind of annoying. So there's a few tweaks I could do about that. Or maybe I could just check for branches that have like a 1.0, 1.1 kind of pattern. Branches require you to switch the branch to cut a full release. Yeah. Separate projects can be rebuilt all at the same time with one hotkey. Yeah. This is what I was talking about with, I actually complained multiple times to Tynan and basically whoever would listen to me. Because I think this is kind of the misconception with the current versioning system. I'm assuming, I haven't actually checked, but I mean, Royalty just came out. Royalty is basically 1.1, right? So it's stable now, isn't it? I haven't actually checked it, but it would make no sense if Royalty came out. Or hasn't it not come out yet? No, it has come out. Or has it just been announced? Am I such an idiot? No, here, Royalty. I have Royalty. Yeah, it's supposed to be completely stable. It's only had a week of testing, or at least like testing in a larger environment. So I would take that with a huge grain of salt. But sure. I like the new background art though. I mean, it doesn't quite fit the same style, but that's cool. Yeah. Right. What? No, sorry. My fiance is sitting over there and giving me a weird look. It's like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, it does. It's like the what's the names? Yeah, I always forget the names of the houses and stuff. But yeah, fancy. Could not initialize Steam app. Yeah. Have they deleted the file again? So this is actually the first time I've booted up the game with royalty as well. I've read something about it and stuff, but cool. Yeah, this is basically the same announcement as the one that was on Steam. Nice. Anyway, so yeah, that's out. 1.1 is now officially stable. I need to update, basically. My question was either I can just rush everything out, get 1.1 updates out on at least create the updates, put them on GitHub probably, because I shouldn't put them on Steam Workshop yet, just for many reasons. I really want to, because, well, people are shouting. Well, I haven't actually looked at the comments yet, but there's a lot of comments. But then it would have no testing and it would have no multi-version support. Come on. Yeah, so that's probably just a terrible idea. So we can do some updating and then just put the versions on GitHub, and then I can work on the release script a little bit more in the meantime, and then when everything is tested a little bit, then we can also do proper releases. That seems like a good plan. Yeah. All right, so let's go over basically from the top. So let's start with Work tab. And we're going to skip Mod Manager for now because, like I explained at the beginning, I mean, a lot of people want to see it updated. I want to see it updated, but that's pretty much the only mod in this list that needs a lot more time. And I've already spent almost a week fiddling with it. So I'm going to leave that one for now. So Work tab, Colony Manager, Research Tree should all be fairly doable. Yeah. All right, let's start with Work tab. Yeah, I really miss it as well, and I think it's such a missed opportunity that the new work, like the new mod manager in game is like it's half implemented everything. Like it's done dependencies and load order stuff, but then it doesn't actually look at versions. So you cannot depend on a specific version, or you cannot say that, okay, I'm not compatible up to version 1.x, and after that it's fine. It just assumes that there's only ever one version of all mods, and that is the same. And it's just like, no, that's just not realistic. Why wouldn't you do it properly? The UI hasn't been changed at all. Yeah, some minor tweaks, but it's still the same single list that is completely unmanageable if you have many mods. It's just such a missed opportunity. And it also makes my life harder now, because now I have to deal with like some of the stuff that is implemented in vanilla, and obviously I want to support that, but then I also want to still support like version dependencies and stuff. So I still also have my own thing, and I want to support like version checking, which is also not implemented. So it's, yeah, it just creates another source of truth. The one nice thing is that there's now a whatchamacallit, there's like a mod identifier, which is actually Quack, which is actually unique, is what I wanted to say. So I don't have to mess about with like folder names or mod names and then try to find out which mod it is based on that, because that tends to change a lot. Right. This cannot possibly be right. Why am I not getting any errors? There we go. And half the errors are disappearing the second I look at them. Why? What's wrong with Fluffy UI? It's here. Build it. You are actually up to date, so you... Yeah, no limit. It's, yeah. Don't know what to say about it. Why is this complaining about fluffy UI? It's not required, can be safely removed, and it's not resolvable. That doesn't seem to make much sense. Anyway, I need to. Oh, I probably already updated this to 4.7 yet, and we haven't done that here. So I'm trying to keep some of my UI code in like a shared project between different mods. That's also a working project, but it means that I've already updated that one. So yeah, yep. Okay, so that's at 4.7 now. The window content is not implemented. Yeah, it is. It just changed. And that's because this is now a different reference. Yeah, 1.1 changes a lot of things. We've moved through a much more recent version of Unity, which means that all of the Unity DLLs are now split up into separate components, which is really fucking annoying, to be honest. I mean, I guess it's better for purposes of like saving space and stuff like that. I don't know. But it's just annoying because you need nobody's figured out like what is in what DLL yet, and there's so many of them. But yeah, then we've moved to C# 7, I think. Like it's .NET 4.7.2, which I'm pretty sure was C# 7, which means that we've got access to a few new features, notably async await, dynamics, or dynamic variables. What else? I'm sure there's more there. Oh yeah, like dynamic tuples, so we can create tuple structs on the fly, which is nice. Can I increase the volume? Yeah, possibly. I can try to move the thing a little bit closer. I don't know. Is it okay for anybody else or? I can't increase it anymore there, but I could up the gain a tiny little bit. Is that better? I don't want to overdo it. Let's keep it on there for now. And yeah, I haven't been able to play yet either. And then finally we've moved to Harmony 2.0. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, that I mean we had to update all of our patches and stuff anyway, probably most of them, or at least check them to make sure that they're still working. So now we also the syntax for that has changed slightly, not a lot, but yeah. Okay. Can you auto resolve that for me? No, it cannot. I mean, it does tell you that it's in text rendering module. Hey, could compare. Yeah, it is. A lot of the old people are coming back. I mean, Unlimited Hugs is moving in again, and it's nice. Yeah. So text rendering something. This is not even everything, because we've got more here. Text rendering module. Bring it. Did I not just do that? Did I not literally just do that? Yeah. Alright. You know what? Screw this. We'll just do it the other way again. Grab everything called Unity and reference it. Takes a while, but now at least we're sure we have everything. We're not gonna copy any of this anyway, so try the correct project first, Fluff. What do you mean the correct project? Oh, for flying out loud. Yep. Thanks. Too many projects. Thank you. I did just up the volume a little bit, Old Dark, so I hope it's a little bit better now. Yeah, I don't want to blast people's speakers out or something. Did I just add them? No, I didn't. Yeah, okay. Just remove all of you, yeah. Yeah, possibly. I think to be fair, I probably wouldn't use that anyway, because I'm kind of too lazy. But yeah, maybe just if the description was like included in the DLL so that they could read it automatically or something. Yeah, is GUI on the EM GUI? Because I thought GUI was shared for like the normal GUI. Too many GUIs. Okay, there's now a Unity engine grid, but this is definitely my version of it. The text render core and the EM GUI. Okay. Yeah, probably would be fine. But this doesn't actually hurt anything, so. I mean, yeah. It's also annoying that the reference manager isn't actually it's not actually built for this many references. Like it has the list of recently used DLLs here, but there are so many Unity modules now that it actually pushes them off the list. It's like great. Well thought out. All right. Interesting. You are probably not on 4.7 yet. Nope. Yeah, it is a little bit funny. Why are you not opening this file, or any file for that matter? Okay, interesting. So I was trying to look up the favorite manager, which is this one. That doesn't work. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. Because I created that one. It seems to just like have not loaded in. many of these files properly for some reason. Because this is the one that implements the set load idea. So yeah, that is definitely just there. Because favorite is a priority tracker, and a priority tracker has a set load ID. So yeah, maybe. No, still bugging out over it. Why? You're missing a using directive or an assembly reference. No, I'm definitely not. There's a namespace work tab. I mean, this is the same file, right? It's a favorite, which is a new favorite, which is a form of priority tracker, which has set load idea, which is here. It's public, it's virtual, so it should be inherited. If you build it, will it go away? I just tried to build it. There we go again. Let's try to fix some other stuff first, and then we'll see what happens. This is a fluffy grid. One is an ID name, the other ID uppercase D. How is that even possible? Because then it would have been wrong from the beginning. I mean, it's never been correct. Priority tracker, set load ID. Yeah, you do appear to be right, which is kind of odd. Okay. Okay. Which mod have you managed to update so far? Tonight? Nothing. Last week I updated Fluffy Breakdowns. That was like I had been spending the entire stream on trying to update Mod Manager without any success, because, well, like I told you about before. And then I decided, like, screw this, I'm going to quickly update. Oh wow. Okay. Quickly update that one. That was like half an hour. That was not so. That wasn't so bad. But now I did do that off stream, so I didn't have the pressure of people looking at me and having to explain what I'm doing, and yeah. So the fill reasons have changed, apparently. Okay. Cannot convert a tagged string to a fail reason. So I'm pretty sure this used to have an implicit, and probably still has, an implicit operator for string. Yeah, there we go. It's just that the translate function returns a tagged string now. Don't even know what that is. Let's find out. Yeah, honestly, it's an interesting experience. It does make me more nervous, and it does make me slower. Yeah, Diddley, I know. It's not. I could also just put it in a like string interpolation and stuff, and then there's various ways to try and force it to be a string first. I just want to quickly find out what the tag string actually is, if it's but I guess there's now multiple stage translation or something. You can get a tag string. What the hell is a tag string? It's got a raw text. You can index over the chars. You can strip it. Sure. Oh, this is, you can do the hyperlinks, the in-text hyperlinks. Probably. That's cool. Sure, we'll have to look at that more. Yeah. Is it just color text, or is it also actually hyperlinks? Because I was hoping it was actually hyperlinks. Anyway, so this will just, do we want raw text? Probably to string. I don't know what raw text is. What is raw text? Yeah, that's not helpful. Yeah, I guess that just makes the colors, so I can use raw text. Again, probably to string also uses raw text, but where was I? No, that's not where I was. Still reason. There we go. No, bugger. There we go. Yeah, that just uses raw text as well. Raw text sounds rugged. And resolve also returns a string. Yeah, I think resolve returns a string with a color though, which is not. This is going into. Might as well, I guess. I don't know what will happen. This is going into the tooltip or the. Yeah, this is going into when you do a right click on to give the pawn an order. Then this will tell you like, no, you can't do this because whatever, forbidden or it's on fire or a bunch of different reasons. So I'm not sure if that I don't see any reason why that shouldn't allow for like pawns and stuff. So might as well. Yeah, I mean this should probably give us the same color things if they're defined for that string. I'm sure it does, Cuffs. I'm sure it does. The hyperlinks is going to take a while for modders to deal with, I feel, especially the bigger mods. Yeah, possibly. So it is possible to do hyperlinks though then, is it? Might just be because I've seen Dutch ramblings about fixing the roof and floor optimization. But maybe doing the same as Thailand might not be the best idea sometimes. No, probably not. Oh yeah. The story stuff also got changed. Does it now have titles apparently? Is that new? Is it the backstory? Disallows trade, disabled work givers. So story tracker. This is an actual backstory. But there's multiple ones, so this is not where I want to be. Some of those functions move to pawn of story. There's no pawn here. It's not the pawn you're looking for. Right. Work type. Work type is disabled. Right. Sure. Why not? And I think I saw a method for work tags in there as well. Combine disabled work tags that I was using before. One of work types is disabled. Oh no, that's not the same thing. Alright, then we'll just use this stuff. It's the same logic as before, I hope. Apparently I'm using this in a lot of places. I should possibly create some kind of helper for this. Maybe. I guess not. It's really only a very short bit of code. Oh yeah, these got changed. I think they use tick high and tick low now. If I was told correctly. Does anybody else know? Maybe if amount, decrement, and increment, the sound defs for those? If they got moved or what they got changed to? I ran into them with breakdowns as well. Yeah, I think somebody said that they were like amount, they would now take high and take low as well, but I don't know. I think they were used as separate things in the past, so it's a little bit weird. You can always go back and change them again later. I kind of feel like just doing a mass search and replace on like a pawn story and remove it everywhere. Do I still need to check that now? Can't hurt. Tick high. Tick low. Yeah. That's, I hadn't even thought of that. But yeah, that is a good idea. I don't think I actually have a copy of the 1.0 DLL lying around though, so if you could check that for me, that would be great. Yeah, it is. I do use it quite a lot. I just tend to not really compare it to the old version, which is weird. Kind of should be doing that. Anyway, we're almost done. Possible unintended reference comparison. To get a value comparison, cast the left-hand side type method info. Okay. You want to do that for me? No, you can't do that for me. Okay. Okay. No, I am not on Harmony 2.0. That is a very good point. Because I should have gotten other errors about that already. Oh yeah, I was trying to implement the multiplayer API. That hasn't worked yet either. I should probably try to remove that for now. Because that's not going to work. Let's remove Harmony and use the NuGet package, because that's generally speaking an easier way to handle this. Oh, we're on 2.06 already. He keeps finding bugs, doesn't he? All right. We can use access tools again, and now you're going to complain that Harmony doesn't exist. Yeah. Sure, let's get rid of some of these unused imports. This has now become just Harmony. And that is just a normal constructor now. This is multiplayer. Oops. Let's take that out for now. And then I was going to say I have a couple of multiplayer references in here. And you are complaining because yeah, okay. Are you a tag string? Sure you are. Then we will resolve you. Okay, don't cast to method info, but use dot calls. Okay. Can you try to explain, like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and what is the difference there? No idea why I did that anymore. Why are you zoeken? Dit. Yeah. Okay. Let's find out. Okay. So can I can't do that on the operand, can I? No. So is that on? Ah, that's on that one. So instruction calls the method constructor, and then I can just put a method info in there. Okay, sure. I mean, isn't this just a shortcut to doing what I was just doing? Yeah, it's checking if the method info is that, and output equals code operand object method. Yeah, that's basically doing the same kind of thing. Right, I'm getting a phone call. I'll be right back. Right. Sorry about that. Some call center asking if the contact with our landlord is adequate. No, not right now. It isn't. No. You can get rid of the opcode equals call comparison as well. Yeah, I guess because that's what it's doing there already, and then it's checking the operand. So it's just a quick utility function. All right. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. Okay. Cool. Any chance the work tab will ever get subtabs? Would be really nice for temporary columnists, such as from the new quests and for stuff like simple slavery slaves. It's by drag slider this far. Okay, Nalesh first. Honestly, no. Not really, no. That would be kind of a massive change. And I actually have something else in the works when it comes to a work tab, a different type of work tab. So that would be my first priority. And obviously my first priority now is trying to just get stuff updated for anyway. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's really not very high on my list. So no, not really, no. You can relatively easily create a copy of the work tab and like just have a completely new main tab window and just change that to not use the same list of pawns. That would be fairly simple. I guess I could also do that for the actual tab, but yeah, like I said, it's not working on that is not high on my list of things to do. Delete. Seeing mount increment replaced by drag slider. Is that also mount decrement then? Or is there just one? Alright. I'm not sure I like that. I think I'll stick with tick for now. Let's see how that sounds. I kind of like the distinguishment between wow, that's a bunch of codes. That's terrible. Yeah, that seems to be just the same thing. I mean, in that case, counterclockwise or clockwise, it doesn't matter that much, I guess. It's just a change. But up and down, you kind of expect there to be some kind of distinguishment in between those things. Yay, bunch more harmony references, because apparently I'm using access tools all over the place. And that's actually a patch. Kind of the most important patch in the entire mod. Let's not do that. Like that. Yay! Pros were to discount another big drag slider. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Okay. That feels like a regression to me, to be honest, but alright, let's not complain. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Honestly, for the amount of just pure nuisance, I really get annoyed with the name change. That one will do. why are you making me replace the reference everywhere? Grr. Alright. It's taking a little bit longer and it's done. Alright. Let's have a quick check to see if I didn't forget to remove any of like the local copy reference settings thingies, because I tend to do that, and then you end up with a bunch of assemblies in here. But no, that doesn't seem to have happened. I should probably take the multiplayer API out though, because that's outdated and probably going to break stuff. So let's look at work tab, assemblies, and get rid of that one. That should do the trick. Yeah. I mean, changing harmony to harmony lib. Was that really necessary? But yeah. It's not the end of the world, obviously. It's not a big deal. But Tynan has a habit of just moving things around or like renaming it in marginal ways. Like name becomes label and things like that. It feels like sometimes it's just to keep the modders on their toes. But yeah. Oh no, that doesn't work either. No, that's also no. Bugger. That one. There we go. Yeah, that's also giving some complaints about, I don't know, probably the new format of about.xml or something. So I can't use my offline mod manager either, or like my out of game. Alright, then we'll just have to start again. Worked out. Do you think? Yeah, there's 3 of them now. I think if there's the Python one, RimPy or something, not Py, I forget what it's called. They actually took the time to build a database of load order stuff, which is nice, but you also need to keep it updated, which I'm not going to do, so therefore I'm not going to build the database. Alright, that seems to work. And we haven't regressed on any of that stuff. That seems to work. We can still do timed priorities, and we can set them by fonts. Gosh, I missed that in vanilla. Does the UI resize still work? I bloody well hope so. Yeah, I noticed a little bit that like Tynan made it that text is now still sharp on higher. Yeah, actually that looks really nice. That also seems to have fixed the rotated text being crap. I guess this is the Text Mesh Pro thing that he seems to have added. But yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, Nalesh, I'm really just not willing to do that kind of stuff. I mean, lots of people have also asked me for some kind of tag management system, and they can like assign tags to multi-mod manager, which I like, and it's a good idea. But I think if you're gonna do that, then you have to make it shared somehow, or yeah, or like the Steam system, where if many people give it a certain tag, then that becomes a tag for that mod or that game or whatever. Yeah, so that you can like crowdsource the tags for the mods. But then again, that also needs some kind of gosh, words are hard tonight. Moderation. like there are idiots out there who would put all kinds of filth on it, and I don't want that on my server or under my name or on my mod. So I would feel like I have to moderate that, which I'm just not gonna do because I ain't got the time for that. Which means you either need to have a really clever and good like community moderation system, or you need to give it out of hand, or it's like, yeah, it's just not, yeah, I haven't spent any time on it yet to try and make it work correctly. I am going to quickly check if time priorities work, and if they work, then I'm going to assume that everything works. So we're going to tell them that they can hold for from 3 to, what's that, 8? It is currently 6, if I'm reading that correctly. So we've got a couple of hours to set things up. I'll just give them a couple of things that they're allowed to haul or eat or whatever, do things with. Spend some time. Why did I do it this far into the future? Makes the list look spaghetti as fuck, but it worked better than I expected when I tried. Yeah, has anybody tried the new vanilla sorting feature? I heard some mixed reviews about it. And hole. 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 Yay! They're holding. No. No, it isn't. And it's not possible to do any kind of static analysis or something anyway. Like, there's no way that from the code or the kind of patches that they do that you could possibly find out like what the mod loader needs to be. It's theoretically possible with XML, but no way with C#. So it's not like that's worth bothering. Which means that, yeah, it's basically just you use what other people say with the depending on and load before, load after. But yeah. Alright, that seems to work. Let's push a pre-release build out there. Current work tab, not release. Well, no, let's push the changes. What tab? I want to. I probably should put this on a branch if I'm going to do that kind of thing. So this would be 1.1. It's just some debug output from the, I don't even know which mod, to be honest. My local copies, my local builds, the ones that I do in here are automatically on debug mode. And it just gives some extra output for some stuff. I'm not sure what that one even is. I think it's probably from breakdowns. And nah, I closed the game already. Doesn't matter. Did you now revert all of my changes? No, right? No. Yeah, you can add that stuff. What initial 1.1 release. Don't need to do too much about that. Could patch the patch method to see what tries to patch what, and then sort off that and unpatch the patch function and pray to whatever DD you worship. Yeah, you could do that. It would be fun. I mean, have you seen how long, what happens when you add the humanoid alien framework, race framework thing? And that has the potential to like double your load times because it has to parse all of the code to do the patches. So I mean, you're looking at 2 times that at least, because patching and then unpatching. I have never modded for KSP. No idea how that system works like. I have a vague idea of what a factorial system looks like, even though I've never modded for that one either. Anyway, mod release, force it, and this is a free release. I always forget my own options. Yeah. All right, that should have worked. Let's see if it's there. It's not going to do it every time you load, right? No, I suppose. You could not have it do that. Thanks for the follow, AO Rosalia. Alright, there's an initial 1.1 release. Let's put that on work tab. Video alone hides the juicy bits, but that should be front and center. Yeah, sure. I'll look at the actual comments more later and answer to them. Pre-release 1.1 version on GitHub. You can find here. There we go. There's a ton of automation in terms of dealing with the whole load before after, since KSP doesn't use load orders. Yeah, but I'm assuming that KSP has a modding API then, because that's the kind of thing where I said with like static analysis, is that you can, based on what kind of mod's doing, and you can figure out what needs to come first and after. Considering that by default you can already do almost everything you want, and then with Harmony especially you can do really whatever the fuck you want, it's kind of impossible to automate that. Okay, that's interesting. But I wonder how that works then. I did, let me quickly show you, because that's something else I've been working on, which is kind of cool. I've been scraping Huxley logs, so there's like almost 100,000 log files uploaded to Huxley. So I've basically downloaded all of them and like parsed a bit of data from them. So I do have a pretty good database of patches that are done. So the easiest way to show this is probably to boot up the Discord bot that I was working on. Right. And then open Discord. Yeah, I could have just showed this, but for example, on Palm, there's going to be an insane amount of patches on it, and this will just give you an overview of like the patches done by various mods, which is kind of nice. You can look like, okay, I want to override job giver work in one of my new mods, and I can just see like, okay, which other mods are doing this. Wow. Oh, it's still giving me output for Palm. That was a bad idea. There's a lot of things overriding Palm. Were they? Okay. I never actually noticed that, didn't I? It also sounded like, I feel like those were different sounds, always, to be honest. All right, here we go. Job giver work. That's what I was actually looking at. And yeah, it is limited to 20 mods. The only problem is that it counts like other mods that it doesn't recognize as one mod. So there's a lot of other mods that patch this. I need to fix that. So I can easily see that, okay, hospitality, what the heck, expanded roofing, prison labor, and tenants are the main mods that that patch that method, which is, or this class in this case, which is kind of cool. And I also did I was working on a graph version of it as well for like seeing which mods are used. So if we look at WordPad, for example, I can get a graph of how often do need to do this properly. There we go. How often the work tab has appeared in log files over the last week or something. So this is like a rough measure of popularity modeled with how buggy it is. But yeah, I was working on that, and then 1.1 release came out. So not working on it anymore. Anyway, one down, quite a few more to go. Let's do research tree. That should be fairly doable. First of all, let's move you to 4.7. Yes, please. And you're using Harmony. And you actually had a working version of the multiplayer API. It's the single mod that I actually got it working on so far. Still, let's remove it for now because I don't know if it's been updated yet. Right. Good luck, Manny. Thanks for hanging out. See you around. This is already a new version now. This is still old. And I want to add Harmony back. The latest version install. There we go. All right, now we're going to have a lot of complaints about Unity Engine modules. So let's try doing it targeted again. We need the core module, that one. We're going to need text, and we're going to need EM GUI, or the immediate mode GUI, at the very least. Hello, Code Optimist. Yeah, so there's basically the kind of Xpatch things, or XPath patches that you can do in RimWorld, but in a different syntax and a little bit smarter. Am I understanding that correctly? Because this looks like it's going to be for data, yeah, and not for code. Yeah, all right, cool. Did I not just get text rendering module? Oh, I got text core module. Too many bloody references. Unity text rendering. Now? Yay! And capitalization is important. Don't ask me why, but yeah, we'll probably have to resolve that first. Which means that it's going to be a little bit more difficult with contains query. So this is like the search function. Resolving this means that we'll get some garbage for color codes inserted into the string, which means that contains may break if you go across like word boundaries that have a color in them. Frankly, I'm not terribly concerned. Then again, I don't have to resolve this. I can just use the raw text and then we won't have that problem. It's basically made to require as little non-conflict editing adding as possible. This means it has the same load time as RimWorld. Yeah, I still don't understand how people deal with like the half-hour plus load times that RimWorld can have sometimes. Or that this research stream mod can have actually. Yeah. I wouldn't deal with that. I honestly, I turn it off. When I play a game with lots of mods, I turn it off. I don't wait half an hour for the tree to create. I mean, I don't use that many mods that often, but yeah. Comment that one out. Never close RimWorld. Yeah, I guess that would work theoretically. Random research, so I don't have to deal with those research free mods. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's pretty. Like, yeah, I don't want to call it realistic, but I like that kind of system. I like that there's more randomness to it. I like the Stellaris system where you have a little bit of guidance, like where you can like control which direction it's going, more or less. And it's not completely random. But I can also see that like you just put some points into a specific direction or something, and then that will do. We can just like comment out this whole file because this is just a sync worker that is needed for multiplayer. First experience debugging a mod incompatibility for using one of my mods. I loaded the list and I was like, what the fuck, 30 minutes? Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I try to load them, but if it takes that, if I can see like the list is that long, or if and usually with lists that long, there's also various probably small errors in the log, but you don't know. Like the thing that seems relatively harmless may have actually broken something much bigger, and I'll be buggered if I'm going on a wild goose chase just to try and figure out like, an error that might not even actually be there. It's like, no, that ain't happening. Right, just turning off a couple of sync method flags. All right, we've now removed multiplayer and updated to 1.1 theoretically. Let's see if we have actually. Yeah, it should be doable. I think the biggest problem you'll have is like trying to come up with like different categories and doing it at the same time. But I guess you wouldn't have to. You could just like give just randomly draw like a list of 4 options at any one time, or 3 options or whatever, and then let you research one of them. Yeah, it's still the old one. Wait, that's new, isn't it? The problem with modding is that you actually don't get to play. So I haven't played the game in ages. I literally just set up like a new mod list to play again when 1.1 dropped. I was just getting ready to start the game when like the announcement came that okay, 1.1 has just gone into beta. Like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm going back to modding then. The version of the main menu that was a new background without the dude. I like the increased script crashes. Yeah. I'm sure it won't be long until there's mods that change him again. It does bother me slightly that the planet is more realistic and then the foreground stuff is cel shaded. That's kind of, yeah. I mean, I love the look of the dude himself, but just doesn't quite match with the background. That is new. A yak. Cool. Yakety yak. Anyway, research. Boom. Works. Can zoom, move around, queue shit. Yep. And if we're in God mode, we can auto complete stuff. Add stuff to queues. Yeah, it'll do. We should probably quickly check if the like the what you call it, the harmony prefixes and postfixes and stuff still work to suppress the messages and give my own message and okay, am I going crazy? Is it that one? Yeah, it is that one. All right. And to like instantly start the next project. So let's turn fast research on because I'm not going to wait for this stuff. And we're already on God mode. Plop down the research table, research bench, and start working. Just don't do anything. You're not going to do anything else anyway. Are you? You do have stuff assigned, don't you? Can I not force you to do this? Okay, that worked. Do I need to... Yeah, I'm guessing it should give me some... it's probably like a high-tech bench or the... whatchamacallit, the multi-analyzer. It should give an like an error message or something about that though. Yeah, you're not gonna work there anyway. But yeah, it's doing it. But it's probably not because I've put it on God mode. Yeah, and now I actually have the table, so it's not going to complain about it anymore. Anyway, the messages are working. You done? Yeah. And then these are all like next in queue, and the final one is saying we've done it. Next in queue, none. Apparently that translation is broken. I honestly, yeah, I do care. Wait, let's go fix that quickly. That that would be in a window somewhere. Here, maybe. Nope. That's the main window. It's not what I'm looking at. I would have expected this to be easier to find, but apparently it is not. I also would have expected a reference to it in the patch I was just looking at, to be honest. I guess it's in try start next. Yeah, do completion letter, next in queue, and then this is the actual key for that. It's just lowercase none. Wow. Yeah, it's the like the vanilla farm animals expanded that have been added to the game. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest, because these are terrestrial animals. These are like earth animals. I kind of feel like, yeah, that's great, but could have like gone for a little bit more creative animals, maybe. They're high quality though. Oscar does know his shit. Why are you not in this list? Because I'm going too quickly for my own good. Research tree, languages, English, keyed, and okay, I was relying on a vanilla translation key that has changed. That's what's happened here. So this translation key just doesn't exist anymore. So let's call this fluffy research tree none and be done with it. And then we need to add it here. Research tree none. Okay. Sorry to hear that, Cooking Beer. How many mods have you got? I feel like it's not benefit just because you can manhandle pixel keys. Yeah, don't get me wrong. More variety in animals is definitely a good thing. I just would have liked them to be not quite geese, like, you know, just somehow manipulated geese that had some kind of new thing on them. And weird things, but it's easier to create things you can reference, I guess. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, boomer geese, or like, I mean, we already got boomer lopes and boomer rat, so I mean, maybe acid geese or something that like their eggs, you can throw them as acid grenades, or maybe they're smoke grenades, like you can use the eggs or something like that. That would be cool. Ooh, that is a good point. I'm not even sure. No, yeah, it is updating the version number, because otherwise I would have gotten errors about that. The Australia vanilla expanded, that's the boom koala. Yeah, should add drop bears. Does it add drop bears? Should definitely have drop bears. All right, I'm happy with this. So let's update that initial 1.1 release. We also want to go in there, research tree, and git checkout 1.1. I always forget if that, no, it doesn't add anything because I have to, I'm sure there's a way to create the branch and check it out at the same time. I kind of want to find out now. Oh, why is it everything so difficult? Ah, okay. We'll just create it first and then check it out. And check out beam name. Oh, right. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sure. And right, we're now in there. Add this. Then we'll mod release, force release. And that's research tree done. And did anybody actually ask for that one? Yes, they did. When is the 1.1 version coming? And your code is here now. That one, and this is research 3. Just a pre-release for now needs more testing to become the stable release. You're welcome. Honestly, it's one of the mods that I'm least happy about. It's a failure for me, to be honest. What should have happened is you've got these algorithms to create a nice, visually pleasing tree that is balanced, that has as little white space as possible and as little crossings as possible. So like these lines crossing. And there's like a 3 or 4 step process to that. And I've only been able to implement 2 or 3 of those. So it's like I can minimize crossings. I can somewhat balance them in relationship to like their direct neighbors. But then the last step is supposed to be scrunching this all up. So like there's a gap here of like 5, 6 nodes that could just be removed. That serves no purpose whatsoever. So all of this bottom stuff should be moved up. All of this stuff, there's much too much white space there. That could probably be moved in as well a little bit. So that's like the final scrunching up step that I just haven't been able to figure out correctly. And that's just, it makes everything worse. And the worst problem about it is that to try and overcome that, because this is actually, it is much worse if I don't do anything about it. But to try and fix it, I've resorted to an iterative approach that just keeps fine-tuning it and then keeps getting it a little bit closer together until you've either done that like 100 times or there's no improvement anymore. That is actually also the part that's making it take forever to load. So yeah, there's like I've spent 2 Christmas breaks on trying to fix this and trying to implement it, and I never got it working. But this is one thing that I want to come back to, because there are libraries that can do this for you, but they used to be only on like C# 4.5 or something, or .NET 4.5 or whatever. So I'm hoping that now that we're on a more recent .NET version, I can actually use libraries and not have to implement this manually, and hopefully make it a lot better and quicker and nicer and just awesomer. But yeah. Welcome to the chat, Twisted Stream Minds. The sleep schedule is okay, to be honest. I have to admit I got a little bit of extra stress from all of this. Yeah, seeing a lot of messages coming up. A lot of donations as well, which is nice, but it does make me feel like, oh shit, I really have to get this stuff done now, which is adding even more pressure. But I mean, I'm getting to stuff now, so I'm feeling better about that. Yeah, you're welcome, Odyssey. Welcome to the problems people making family trees have had for hundreds of years. Yep. I mean, I play Crusader Kings sometimes, and there you also have like the family trees, and they also get ridiculously big, which is kind of the same problem. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I use it for the queue. Like just being able to queue things up is amazing. I don't want to deal with having to set research every time. But the actual tree, I'm still not happy about it. Yeah, they're terrible. I mean, they do have a search function as well, which is pretty necessary. Yeah, I still want to fine tune this as well. Like this should actually have a nice visual, the same thing in there, not just mortars. Anyway, good enough. This works. Next. Blueprints. That should be, I don't think that uses Harmony even. Oh, it does. Why? Right, we'll find out. Let's not go into that. Yeah, it can get pretty gross. Wait, that was the wrong. Can I don't suppose I can add like NuGet packages from here, can I? Nah, that doesn't seem to work. Harmony. You are a Harmony. Yes, please. All right. You can go away. It's open and automate. Why does it use something I told it to use? Yeah, I'm a PhD student, so oh, wow, right. I need to do the Unity engine references, and I work with computational statistics, or at least that's the way I tell it to people when I want to sound fancy. I basically try to run R scripts and do statistics, and mostly just fail and shout at my computer. So yeah, I have loads of scripts that I ran in a distant past, and then I get prepared the data or something, and then get the new batch of data for somebody, so I have to run the script again, and then suddenly it doesn't work anymore. It's like 9 times out of 10 it's a data, because they've just changed the way they've moved some columns around or renamed stuff, and then they didn't figure that would be worth telling me about. So then I spent a couple of hours trying to fix that. But sometimes it's also just me being an idiot, which is always the most fun. Wasn't there a recent version here? Oh no, right, there we go. So this should have recent stuff, right? Yes. Rendering, core, and imgui. Yes. I mean, I share a room with somebody else who's doing pretty much the same job I am, so it's we have fun. Yeah, because I haven't told you to be the correct framework version yet. That is apparently important. Right. Yeah, and then we have to install that one again. Sure, I can. That seems relevant. Is it gone? No. Just uninstall. And then install you again. Is that how we're going to play it? I don't mind. Sure. Go for it. Decrement, we were going to call that tick low. What am I doing here? I'm rotating. So let's keep that one actually the drag slider. I guess this one doesn't really have like an up or down direction because it's just rotating stuff. 1.0 they sound the same. Okay. I would have sworn that they sounded different, honestly. This needs a resolve. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I guess that's entirely possible. And then they just changed it over multiple updates to confuse everybody or something. All right. Do we think there's going to be a shorthand for this one? We had calls before, we have branches. Yeah, we have is load R. We want is load field. Loads field. Ta-da! No, I don't. I really don't. Yeah, I mean the few mods that have tried to do it and tried to do some parts of ticks in a multi-threaded way, it sometimes worked, but it had lots and lots of bugs, and when that stuff bugs, it bugs hard, and it's really hard to find out. And also, I mean, there's only a limited amount of areas where you could actually use it. I mean, I guess it could help with pathfinding, but I think that's about it. Because the problem with multi-threading is that you need to have jobs that you can parallelize. So you need to be able to do them independently of each other. And RimWorld, by definition, like all of the systems depend on each other and they use data from each other, and it's like one giant web, which means that it's really hard, if not impossible, to actually multi-thread it properly. And you'd probably get a lot more complexity and bugs from it than you actually get in a game on. I assume tick and draw are threaded. No, nothing is. The only thing that is threaded is loading the game. And then that's only threaded in the sense that the UI is done on the main thread and all of the other loading is done on the background thread. So it's just to keep the UI responsive. Well, responsive to like update the message. That's it. Nothing else is threaded. At least it wasn't in the past. Maybe there's some stuff that has been threaded now. Yeah, well, I don't know enough about game dev to go into that. So this would be the field info. So I probably got that there. Oh, that is actually just the field info. Why am I doing this with a getter? What? Why? That doesn't make any sense. Object list. And then it had a by address. Let's see if the address of the field is loaded. I'm just going to assume that that's not important. And then this is calls, I think. Going to go to method constructor method. I'm pretty sure I saw call vert in there as well. Yeah. No, Factorio is multi-threaded. Factorio has, well, at least the drawing is multi-threaded. Yeah, I mean Factorio, but they're completely different games. This is also why Tynan never calls RimWorld a colony simulator. He calls it a story generator because he makes a game that is meant for a small group of colonists having a story where you can personally relate to what they're doing. Like you personally know your colonists and you build up like a relationship with them. That is not how many of us play, because many of us play it more like Factorio or whatever, Terraforming Mars or something like that, or Surviving Mars actually, where you like you build a colony and you build like massive projects and whatever. But that's not actually what the game he developed is. To make a copy of all the stage, you need to draw and pass that off to the thread. Yeah, I mean, then again, I don't think drawing is actually that much of an issue in RimWorld. From what I've seen in the past, most of the slowdown happens either when you're mass pathfinding, when it's generating a shit ton of pawns, so when you get giant raids, because it needs to generate them with valid loadouts and gear setups and stuff, and that takes a while. And when you have a large colony with lots of colonists that have a lot of possible jobs, because that's another thing about RimWorld is that it doesn't use like a billboard with available jobs that you can do. Yeah, there are things. I haven't looked at what has actually been changed behind the scenes. I would be interested in finding out, to be honest. This would be a framework. Yeah. Where was I? I lost my train of thought now. I haven't profiled it either. But it's just that's when I noticed the slowdowns. And I mean, it's a 2D game with sprites. How bad can it possibly be? And then again, you would think that was also the case for Factorio, but wow. Hey there, Exit Chef. Okay. I honestly like when you have this is my little admin view with the chat and stuff, and there's a viewers thing here. It's 18 at the moment. Yeah, that is quite a lot. Awesome. I keep it off because it distracts me. I get nervous when I see the viewer count change, and it's really unreliable anyway, so I try not to pay any attention to that stuff. Okay. So that simplified that patch, and it's still complaining about... But I reinstalled you. Why are you still complaining about this? Can you... Stop that. Yeah, that seems to have shut it up. Good. I could use more coffee actually, yeah. This is a major psychological thing, the viewer number thing. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. There's a psychologist that streams talking to streamers about it. Oh wow. Sure, why not? Odyssey Scorpio or something stronger. I would love some whiskey. I don't actually have whiskey here. Probably also not the best idea to... I mean, I've written some of my most creative code while I was drunk. The problem is that I don't always remember what I was actually writing and how it worked. And I'm not sure the combination with streaming it is going to be a good idea. The rubber ducky lid. Okay. I've never even seen that. Yeah, there's the what is it called? Like the Goldilocks zone where you're like peak productivity when you're a little bit tipsy. It's yeah. Oh, that is the Bomer's Peak. Yeah, of course. I just realized it now. Yeah, fair enough. Yep. Yep. Also an XKCD fan. Thanks for linking that. Yeah. Windows Millennium Edition. Yep. Alright, let's test if this actually works. Most scientific breakthroughs when they're either on drugs or alcohol, waking up, realizing what they've accomplished. I don't think so. No. I'm sure there's a peak creativity and like a feeling of confidence that you can do this and then that helps you actually do it. I'm not sure that it's going to be efficient trying to reach that. I think it's too much of a hit and miss that like you're only gonna reach it like maybe 50% of the time, and then it doesn't give you enough of an edge to actually offset the times when you just ended up being slam drunk at work. I really want to ask my boss now and propose that we give this a try. Yeah, that would be amazing. Right. Well, that isn't working because I haven't enabled it yet. We fun at least. Like there's a specific point that helps specific types of creativity and penalizes other times. Yeah. That sounds reasonable. The paper's peer reviewed it, so it might work. Yeah, but I mean, I haven't seen that paper, so I mean, sure, it is possible. I think what they did is just like get you into that zone and then see that if you're in that zone, are you actually more productive or more creative, or do you create better work? But I don't think they measured how hard it is to get into that zone. Also about researchers being on drugs when they do their biggest breakthroughs, I'm sure that's the case for something, but 9 times out of 10 it's just hard work and long hours and lots of slogging along, and there's very few actual like miraculous breakthroughs, and that's what you always hear. That's just not how it works though. Usually it's just very small incremental improvements in like the state of the art knowledge, and lots of different people working on their tiny little field and adding a tiny little bit, and then in the end we end up being a little bit smarter as a whole. It's like the eureka moments and individual researchers like advancing the fields for decades or something. Sure, there's a couple of people that have done that, but no, just no, you shouldn't expect that to happen. That's a big reason that a lot of PhDs, including myself a little bit, end up in a situation where they feel like, okay, we're not good enough and we're not doing hard enough because we haven't made our giant breakthrough yet or something. It's just not realistic. Anyway, the floor stuff seems to work. That's a good start. We need to claim this for the actual building to work. We can create that. That also works. We can move it around. We can flip it. I'm going to go ahead and call this one working as well. We can export it without errors. We can remove it. Remove it and import it back in. Beautiful. I'm happy with that. I'm so happy there's finally vanilla root supports. I hadn't even noticed that, but yes, there are. That is amazing. You know what? I haven't actually looked at all of the new furniture. Let's give that a shot. Giant tables. Sure. Vertical wooden frame appropriate for royal roofs. Rooms, sorry. So a drape is just what? Like this is a window drape, like curtains or something, right? But you can just put them somewhere? Sure. This is a decor. It's not really pretty. I'm sure it has a beauty value. It's not pretty though. Yeah, 7 beauty. Yay. What? Give me a break. Braziers. Let's build a silver one. Alright, just a fireplace. Sure. A grand throne. Wait, what? Am I? Oh, wait, that's where he will sit. Right, sure. Can I force you to sit on there? How does that look? It's entirely possible that it does. I'm not sure if you would be able to see that. I think all right. Yeah, sure. Why not? I can set an owner. Oh wait, this is actually for royalty. You need to have a title first. Okay, sure. Normal thrones, beds, bedrolls. There's nothing new there, is there? Structure, yeah, we got the roof supports, the columns. That's nice. This is all the same. Nothing new there. We looked at that. Oh, are those new? Or are they there already? I'm not sure. Barricade is new though. But yeah, that's the new thing. That's just like a sandbag with different materials. Yeah, I know they're vanilla because I don't have any mods installed, like except for my own one. But I'm wondering if they're 1.1 or 1.0. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this throne. It's very hard to see what it is. Like, unless you know what it is already, this doesn't immediately scream throne to me. It's more like a gray blob with yellow bits on it. Yeah, sandbags require leather now. Yeah. I mean, this should also require sand, but... anything else news here? We've got steles. Memorialize stuff. That's cool. So you can I do that, or is it just art and it gets stuff on it? Or does that happen with like an event or something? Alright. Yeah, it kind of feels like in Dwarf Fortress you'd have the gravestones, and then you'd have like the memorial stones to get ghosts to go away. That looks cool. I think the Crypto Sleep Casket's gotten updated. Yeah, that's definitely new. That's pretty cool actually. That looks fancy. I mean, but this and this, like what? These things do not match each other. That southern table looks really weird to me. Yep, you're completely right. This has been turned around, and that should not be possible. Yeah. It's also happened on the columns. It's harder to see, but yeah. You can also see that. Alright. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Thanks for the follow, you know. Welcome to the stream. Alright, I'll see if I can have a quick look at that. A hoopstone ring. Yeah, this is that got changed a while back, right? One of them is for what's it called? Tribal. The other one is for the normal ones. The Game of Ur was added the last time as well, I think. Ship stuff. This looks like it's got some new graphics as well. Ooh, that's big. I never build ships. The ship crypto sleep casket is the same. It just needs to be on like a structural beam or something. Yeah. No. Whatever. And then we've got some temperature stuff. That's all still the same. Alright. Not that much new stuff. I haven't played it yet, so I'm sure there's new quests and new social interactions and stuff. But not many new items. Is it? I thought this was added. I think it's like 15 new prosthetics. Alright. Yeah, I guess we haven't looked at new items. This is just buildings. So if we look at spawning things, that one, yeah, we could go over this list. I'm not gonna go do that, but yeah, Archotech was there already, I think. Got prosthetic heart, I think is new. Reprocessor stomach. There's a couple of new things there. Yeah, psychic powers and stuff. Yeah. From what I've read, that's also going to be there. Boomjobber from Dune you put on your middle finger. The Venom Talon. Okay, that sounds awesome. New royal themed clothes as well. Yeah, sure. Alright. I guess we actually need to do a playthrough for that kind of stuff. But that's not the kind of streamer I am, so. Although I might do it at some point, but that would probably end up in me playing for half an hour and then deciding, okay, I'm annoyed with this and making a mod for it. But hey, that might be fun. Let's quickly see if we can figure out how not to rotate these things, because they really shouldn't. I'm not going to spend too much time on it though. Right. So this is rotation and flip for each of the items. Try to rotate it. Yeah, this is the wrong way around. That never did anything. Alright. Interesting. I don't think this is a good idea actually, but let's find out what happens when we try to do it. So we're basically rotating individual items of their position within blueprint for clockwise rotation. I don't want to mess with this. Yeah, so this is for floors. It's a way to see if it can be rotated, like a rotation. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at now. Theoretically, yes. The problem is I've had some issues with this in the past because it gets tricky when you have buildings that are not symmetrical. So when the center of the building, which is basically the pivot for rotation, is not in the center of the graphic for it, then you get weird interactions between rotating the entire thing and rotating the actual building in it, and like where it gets wrong. So then you had things that move around depending on how you rotate it and stuff. And me moving around with it as well, which was kind of doing my head in. So I was really happy that it's finally working, and I'm a little bit worried that if I mess with it now, things will break. Yeah, so these things were meant to be like warnings, like, okay, this is going to be a problem. Yeah, I'm quickly going to check, like I have this not rotatable thing here. So I think I could just, thing that, return thing that, rotatable, yeah, okay. So I should just be able to say like, okay, your position should change. And this one can just be a call for I'm not sure if I need to keep track of it internally. I don't think I should be doing this. No, I need to look into this more. Doing this, we're only affecting the 3x3 table in the columns. No, I'm pretty sure it's affecting everything that shouldn't be allowed to rotate, because these things have just one graphic, because they're, I mean, these are also symmetric, but they just have only one version of the graphic, so they're not allowed to be rotated normally, which you can also see when you play the game and you try to place them. Like a chess table, for example, you also cannot rotate. This is the same from every angle, so the buttons for it don't even show up, where for this one they do show up. And that's probably going to be the same for the table here. Yeah, no button showing up, but then when I make a blueprint of it, I suddenly can rotate it. But not on the preview, interestingly. Huh. And also not when it's just the table. Sure. There we go. That one's wrong. Is it? No, it's not. It's just in the shadow. Oh, for crying out loud. So it's probably only when it's being flipped then. Did I try that? Right, that doesn't appear to be it. What happens when we do it like this? And we flip you around? No. I think it's only a shadow that isn't showing. No, it's definitely doing it. Like you can see that there's the legs are pointing upwards there and they're pointing downwards there. And you can also see it with this one. There's like a shadow here that is supposed to be on the top there. So this actually got flipped and reversed everything with it and removed the pot or the bird, whatever. So I feel like if I just take this bit, I should be able to replicate that. So when I just copy it, see? This has fucked things up. Now it's moved around because it's rotated. And now it stays this rotation as well, which is interesting. Why did I have to start messing about with things that were working perfectly fine? Alright, that's flipping it around. That's working. If I flip it and then rotate it, it's fine. If I flip it and then rotate it, I don't understand how this happened now. So this one got messed up somehow once. And now when I try to copy this messed up version, like this is in a state that it shouldn't ever be allowed to be in. Yeah. Alright. I don't think I've actually had any complaints about anything like this. So let's just assume it doesn't exist and we'll come back to it later. I'm sure I know what it's going to say when I inspect it, Diddley. It's going to tell me that it has a different position than what it actually does, or what it appears to have based on where it's drawn or rendered or whatever. Yeah. I'll try and figure this out later. For now, it's good enough. Yeah. It's not a defect, it's a feature. It works sometimes. Blueprints, and then we can do git checkout b1.1. Ta-da! Thank you for that one. Initial 1.1 release. Mod release fp. There we go. Yeah. I could add like an MC Escher picture to it. Say like, you can build this kind of stuff in RimWorld. Oh. Wouldn't that be cool? Right, that is a terrible preview of it. I mean, it's kind of what's happening. You're getting like the perspectives wrong and stuff. Just we don't actually have stairs and stuff in there, but no, I haven't played Under Chamber. I'm kind of into management games and stuff, so I like RimWorld. I like modding it more than playing it lately, to be honest. I play like Paradox games, City Skylines. What else do I play? I was hooked on Farming Simulator for a while. That was fun. It's a great game. It's amazing. Okay. That could be interesting. I'm not sure it's for me. I think I would get a headache pretty quickly, but right. Let's let people know that Blueprints is updated. And only 2 people have actually asked for that one. Aww. Need 1.1. Oh. Let's get the blueprint. Does that work? Wow. You're so smart. Releases. Why am I not seeing releases? Give me releases. I'm just blind. What are your thoughts about the Rimtonics Tiberium Rims research menus? Okay, I'm assuming first of all you mean Rim Atomics. And I played with it once, and I was really impressed with the like the interfaces and stuff that they built for the reactors and stuff like that. I'm not sure if the actual experience was that great, because it was kind of fiddly to work with, but it's some really cool stuff there. I honestly don't actually remember what the research stuff was like. It's kind of like an old style research screen, right? It's like where you just have a list on the side and yeah, so that's like what the vanilla research menu used to be like in like a couple of alphas back, with some extra bits on it, I'm sure. But yeah, it's better than what vanilla has now, which is like this weird, stupid compromise. Don't get me started. It's a pre-release, needs a bit more testing before I put it on Steam. Honestly, I was gonna complain about this, but yeah, okay. That's just. Right. Yeah. I love it when people do that. Just shout 1.1, need 1.1. I think, yes, I know that. Thank you very much. Your input has been appreciated. All right. Let's see if we can do one more quickly. Medical tab saw quite a few changes, I think. So let's skip that one until it's not quite so late. What else have we got? No, no, not doing mod manager again. I got suckered into that last stream. That's no. It's 10 past 10 at the moment, but I want to quit at 11 the latest. So not starting a very get the booze out and do mod manager. I don't have any booze around. We're in like a temporary housing arrangement because our house is getting renovated. So we only brought like some of the stuff around, and the rest is kind of in storage and standing around. So yeah. Yeah, I'm in Europe. I'm in Hengelo in Netherlands. Practically Germany, but yeah. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? That is easy. Area Unlocker is my favorite mod. Well, actually, it got a little bit bigger now, but this used to be my favorite mod. The entire mod, 4 lines of code. 4. That's just, that makes me happy. But then people started asking like, oh, we want to be able to recolor zones and reorder them, and then it actually, like, it's now maybe a couple of hundred or something. I mean, it's still a super simple mod, but yeah, it got quite a bit more complex about that. It's alright, I don't blame you. As long as you didn't vote for leave. And they are still arbitrarily limited, right? I think it's a UI thing, because you can kind of break the UI if you go over the limit, which would get people complaining. So rather than making a UI that allows an unlimited amount, which would be tricky and annoying, just limit them. Again, it also boils down to the fact that this is not a colony management game. This is a story generator. Yeah, whiskey helps. I mean, it helps that like human areas and animal areas got merged into one category now, because there's like this distinction that didn't ever really make a lot of sense. So at least you don't have to worry about 5 per type anymore. You can now just have 10 areas in total. But yeah, there are still only 10 of them. Anyway, let's fix that up. We need to fix the references. Probably need to update color picker as well. And we need to update the Harmony version. Nougat. Did I use Nougat here? Probably not, right? I don't think I've touched this in ages. It's yeah. I was thinking about Brexit still, and I try not to get too political on my streams, but it still amazes me how so many British politicians, and then a lot of people also seem to think that they can get a better deal outside of Europe than within it. it's just, no, you're not that significant anymore. I'm sorry, you don't have an empire. You're stronger in Europe. Um, and now you're outside of Europe, so you don't have that bloc fighting for you anymore. You need to quickly make new deals with everybody. So like everybody knows that you're in a terrible negotiating position because he needs to bring home good news as well quickly. Because if he doesn't get a couple of trade deals in quickly, then like Boris is going to be out soon. So it's it's just a terrible negotiating situation. But sure, pretend like you're in a strong position and everything is going to be fine. That will happen. Then again, they seem to be very sure of themselves. So maybe I'm just an idiot and things are going to be great and we're going to be begging to be a colony of the UK in 10 years' time or something. I doubt it, but it's possible. Yeah, I noticed that. That was fun as well. It's also slightly surprising that the US actually does have an equivalency arrangement with the EU, because it's not an equivalent system. Like the data protection rules in the US are much less strict than in the EU, but somehow like traveling data between those things is actually allowed, which is funny. Why is RimWorld complaining? Right, let's get rid of that one and add a new one just to make sure that we're doing this properly. I'm also going to get rid of color picker for now because we need to update that one anyway. So get rid of you. It's not so bad. They're moving to Ireland. Yeah, it's a bit of a tax haven. Sorry, the Netherlands. So I mean, don't get me started. I think I've broken it. Yeah, I mean, I like discussing this kind of stuff, but I mean, you never know who's watching and who you might offend, and I don't want to like get a hate fight started on like Twitch chat or if I upload this on YouTube on like YouTube comments or something. So yeah, I mean, Visual Studio is nice, but it's a bit of a behemoth, and it tends to run into itself sometimes. I mean, adding ReSharper on top doesn't really help either because it's kind of a big deal. But alright, that doesn't look like it's going to do anything. No, don't report the problem, just restart it. Actually, get me quit. Was to restore? Yeah, sure, restore them. I don't think I changed very much, but. Right. I was trying to add a reference. Seriously? I'm not allowed to browse for references anymore? No. We're going to London next month, actually. My fiance and I. We're going to see. We have a long weekend. Do some shopping, probably. Well, the fiance, I'll just be hanging around, and we're going to see Hamilton because we wanted to for ages. Yeah, I know. I can manually edit it, diddly. I just don't want to go through that shit. Um, we went to New York 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago or something, and tried getting tickets there. They're stupid expensive. So we signed up for the lottery every day. Didn't get any, of course, but hey, it was a nice thought. But yeah, it's her birthday soon, so I decided let's give her a treat and go to London while it's still easy to do so. References. That's the color picker that didn't actually get deleted apparently. Sure. What ifs? Let's go into another one. Colony manager, haven't updated yet. Blueprints I've updated. So that should work in source. And then somewhere in there will be a project file. And we can grab our assembly. Ridiculous. Might as well grab this stuff as well while we're at it. And this is all the same anyway. How much did I grab? Just the references. That should work, maybe, theoretically. Let's find out. Cool, enjoy. I lived in London for a bit, had to move away again. Yeah, I've been to London before. It's I mean, it's a giant, massive city. It was nice. We only spent a couple of days there then, I think, or maybe even one day. We were traveling. I think we had a one-day layover in London, and then we went to up to Edinburgh, and then from there we did a bike tour, Fort William, Fort North, kind of. This is like 10, 15 years ago or something, so I don't remember it exactly. But yeah, Scotland is nice. I like Scotland. Edinburgh as well. It's a beautiful city. Alright, that seems to have not exploded so far. It helps that this is actually not the thing that I was looking at. And now it's opening it in there. That explains why I was disoriented. They do have the whiskey. Yes. You know, I wasn't actually drinking whiskey back then. We were fresh out of high school, and the mate and I decided we were going to go on a tour. Well, he decided. I was just coming along for the ride, to be honest. It took me a couple of years to start appreciating whiskey. Yeah, I just didn't drink much more than beer at that point. It's not like I was drinking vodka or something instead. It's a bit of a late bloomer. Alright, this seems more reasonable. But it's definitely Harmony Lip though now, isn't it? Why are you not there? Because Harmony is disappeared. Right. Okay. Let's hope it adds Harmony back without complaining too much. Yeah, it does have it installed, but not really, because I manually restart it. No, I don't care. Just it's going to complain again, isn't it? I really should have more patience with Visual Studio. I just don't. Yeah. It's a pretty decent intro whiskey. I have I do drink whiskey now. I'm not like I enjoy my whiskey. I usually have like a bottle of Usually Ballantines just as like a drinking whiskey for whenever I feel like it. And I'm terrible at remembering names. Glenrothes. 12, 15-year-old, depending on how much money I have to burn that month. For when I feel like an actual really nice whiskey. But that's kind of my upper limit. That's like 40, 50 euros a bottle, which is like, that's good enough. I don't want to spend much more. I don't feel like I'm that much of an expert that I would actually enjoy more expensive stuff. And like I said, when I'm just drinking, I tend to go for the cheap stuff. Right. Yes. Gin kind of girl, not that drink regular. Yeah, gin is nice too. It's I like the more the smoother whiskeys, so the Islays and stuff. I'm not a great fan of the peaty whiskeys. It's no. Well, that's what I have the Ballantines for. Lip Harmony failed to uninstall. Are you fucking kidding me? Just I'll do it again manually. Sure. Bugger off. Wow. Okay, I guess this is where it's actually why it was freezing as well, maybe. Because it somehow that's going wrong. Well, it seems to have deleted it eventually. Or is it in there? I don't know where this stuff is. This is the actual release stuff. No, there it is. Packages. Still there. Lib. Net 4.7. Access is denied. How can you... Can I please delete this folder on my own computer, please? Thank you. Maybe? Dear Windows? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, that was going to be my next step. Yeah, probably. I fail to see what it could be though. Normally I would basically just go and restart everything and close everything I have opened. But that would close the stream. So I'd rather not go there. I suppose you still want to delete it. Never delete non-existing file. Interesting. I can give it a try, possibly. Yep. Can I force you to stop harder? No. That's another one. And there's another one. Right, let's order this by name. That might help a little bit. So we've got 4 copies of something with Visual Studio. Can I end you? Yes, please. Access is denied. No? You? No? How about you? Nope. Is there something else running it? So I would expect that to be at the V for Visual Studio, maybe. Nope. M for Microsoft. Microsoft Surface Photos. Nope. Yeah, I think so too. I think the easiest way to fix this is just going to be to restart the game. Or the computer. Let me try that one. This breaks my computer somehow. I'm going to blame you. Nah. Yeah. I know that one. Nope. Process Explorer. Is that something I've... Yes, Bing. I know the shutdown one. Yeah, I used to use. I've used that myself in the past. Oh, no worries. Nerd. Well, yeah, that's why we're here, right? There's no running instance of the task. Like, but you know which one it is. Like, you found it clearly, but it's not running. It's like, yes, I'm aware. Fun times. Did you download? I don't. This is why I don't use Bing or Microsoft stuff. I would expect that to be here somewhere. No? Am I just going more crazy than before? One last try. Where there's so many code processes running. That seems ridiculous. Then again, there's also like 20 Chrome processes running for what? One browser window? I wanted to sort this by description to see if there's more stuff showing up for Microsoft Visual Studio. There doesn't appear to be. Yeah, I'm probably just going to... yeah, I probably I'd recommend not using Edge at all, but that's what Windows Search defaults to, so whatever. I'm going to call it here then. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense to try a different mod, because I have a sneaky suspicion Visual Studio is going to try and screw me over again. So thank you very much for watching. I've had fun. I hope you guys had too. I'll be back on Thursday probably, and maybe a little bit tomorrow because I've got a lot of updating to do. So I might as well stream it. Hopefully, maybe. Anyway, have fun. Good night. Thank you for being out. See ya. Thanks for the follow, Diddley and Odyssey. See you around. Oh, that's closed itself. All right. And bye-bye for real now.